Hey, y'all, welcome to the Why Podcast, where why is always the question. And see, I want to talk about today that's something everybody wants: change, new life, new habits, new peace, especially with the New Year's around the corner. But I'm going to tell you something: plot twist, change hurts. Growth is uncomfortable. And what may seem like should be a leveling up feels like a tearing down. But no, no fret. No fret. Don't worry. You are becoming. You are stepping into you, which is why for today's why is changing your life so uncomfortable? Because if you feel resistance now, you're not broken. You're becoming. All right, so I got 8 clear points that I want to get to the point of and discuss. And if you agree with me or if you don't agree with me, listen, join the tribe. Subscribe, click below. Let's talk. Let's have this conversation. I know you got the same questions as me. We all have these same questions. All right. So the first point, change requires letting go of the familiar. Now, some of y'all's familiar is a little toxic. And even though you don't want that toxicity, it's familiar, so you're holding on to it. And discomfort comes when you step outside of your known patterns, the things that you are used to. It feels uncomfortable, even though it took you even a while to get into that toxicity. You didn't even realize it was happening when it was happening. Let it go. It is time for a change in your life. Whoever I'm speaking out there to, especially if you're going having toxic relationships, friendships, situationships, whatever the case may be. Let it go. Get out of what's comfortable so that you can get in, so you can get uncomfortable, but you know that little space of growth is happening. Which brings me to my second point. Your nervous system sees change as a threat. Isn't that crazy how the body responds? The body's responding like, hold on, I don't know, hold on, player. What you doing over there? You trying to eat some some greens and stuff? I want fried chicken. What are you doing? Right? And I'm being silly with that, but seriously, even your nervous system recognizes the change. Your brain is wired to protect you. So new routines trigger survival mode, even when they're good for you. Go figure. And I've heard that for years, but I'm seeing as I've gotten older, dang, that's true. That's real. And it's like I need to be over here, and don't even get into like eating right. It is so easy to fall off if you don't get this in check, if you don't get the change up here in check. So number 3, guess what? Growth exposes what you've ignored. How many of us have seen something or felt it and we kept giving ourselves reason? We kept ignoring it or reasoning with it like, oh, well, maybe, or it should, or it's okay. Well, nah, no. Healing brings buried emotions to the surface: shame, fear, grief, regret. That's heavy, but necessary. Okay. It exposes all of those emotions what you thought was tucked away in the back of your mind that you thought you didn't have to deal with, that is coming to the forefront, to the surface, because you can't grow in certain areas and then stay stagnant in the same here. Everything has to grow. All levels have to rise. Everything has to go above ground, so to speak, above sea level, not below sea level. We can't be like the little plot lines. You know what I mean? So you have to bring all the change with you. If you're changing in your diet, you have to, and you're changing in your exercise. If you're changing and exercising more, you inevitably you have to change with what you're eating. You know what you're putting in your mouth. You also have to change in your rest. How much rest are you getting or are not getting? Right? All of these things that we think are not attached to one another, they are. It's like little chains that need one another to help with the growth, prosperity of growth. All right. My next point: old identities don't die quietly. Oh no, they don't. Oh no. They want you to say the same because that's what's familiar. Hold on. How many people have you heard say, well, that's how I always been? Hun, we all have to grow. That's how I always been. Let that go. Let that go, okay? When you stop identifying as the struggling one or the people pleaser, you grieve who you used to be, even if that person was hurting. Let it let it grow and step into the new you that you would like to grow into. I know there's a scripture, and I know I'm going to paraphrase right now that there are even old fools. Meaning, you can get older and not grow and still be as foolish as you were in your younger years as you are now. And you don't want that. You want your growth to actually match your age or more, right? Which brings me to my fifth point. Relationships start to shift. And that can be any relationship. I think that's one of the most uncomfortable feelings that we go through when we're growing and changing. When you grow, some people fall off, some get uncomfortable. That isolation can feel like punishment, but it's alignment. You know, I had someone telling me, that there's this person that they like, but then, well, no, let me put it like this. They don't necessarily like them anymore, but they love having conversations with them, even though that is not someone they see themselves being with, long term or short term. And so I said, cut it off at the knees. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. It's going to be very uncomfortable at first. But nonetheless, the more you get used to not having that person in your life or having access to you through conversation over the telephone, the easier it becomes. So that goes with any relationship. You gotta just cut it off. And it's scary because there's so many thoughts that's going through the mind of the unknown. How many of us know the story of the king that lets the prisoners go and gives them the option of either A, go behind the walls of the unknown, or to get hung for their punishment? Who knows that story? And everybody always chooses to just get hung. And they don't even realize that on the other side of those walls was their freedom. But it goes to show you how stagnant or how stifling growth can be in anyone's mind. It doesn't even matter, right? My next point is success demands discipline, not just desire. How many of us are motivated to be successful? We have that desire, we can see it, and we're even lusting after it, but we're not actually putting in the discipline it takes to make those moves to work towards that change. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. I and this is the me. This is me thing I'm talking about. And some of y'all could probably relate. I love my podcast. I love talking to y'all. I love talking to whoever out there who I can help, who's feeling what it is that I'm discussing with you on this platform. I'm feeling that. But at the same time, why am I being inconsistent? What is it that I'm up here that I'm telling myself? Well, I'm like, oh, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. It has to be great. It has to be whatever it is that I'm telling myself. I'm like, nah, we got to be disciplined. Yeah, this may be the last month of the year. I got a couple of more days or whatever the case may be, a couple of more weeks, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to push. I'm going to push through my being tired. I'm going to push through my children out there crying. Don't want to come in here and get in my space because they want to hop on camera with me or just want to be underneath mommy. I'm going to push as much as I possibly can. So do that for yourself. Demand discipline from yourself. Y'all, I've been working out every single day for almost 100 days because all I said to myself was, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to show up every single freaking day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, however long. And sometimes it can be 15 seconds. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'm so tired. I'm dragging myself to bed. I'm like, you know what? I got to still hit some push-ups or something. I got to show up today. I got to show up. I may hit 15, 20 push-ups, or I may grab my waist and just hit some, I forgot what these are, but y'all know what I mean, right? Because I want to show up for me, and that demands discipline. Growth breeds discipline. So if you want to grow, you have to make sure you get disciplined. Which brings me to my seventh point. Change reveals how much you doubted yourself. When you finally go after it, imposter syndrome kicks in hard. You're not just fighting your routines, you're fighting old habits. We got to let them old habits die because we have so much we need to work towards. You understand? I believe we all have those moments of doubt. We have the moment of doubt, clarity, desire, discipline, all of it like wrapped into one little box of gifts, right? That we like to open up and like, oh my God, which one is it today? And so for me, I'm like, I know those who doubt themselves that are super dope. And I know that's you out there also. That you may be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should, or I don't know if I'm good. You better stop playing with me. You better quit playing. Quit playing with yourself. You understand? I met someone earlier this week. Oh man, she was super dope. She was her voice is fire. She's super talented. I'm like, girl, you only 28. Girl, go after them dreams. I know we're teachers and all, but we still have goals and dreams that we want to aspire to complete, to attain, to go after. And your students will even love you that much more because they'll see, dang, even my teacher was like, I love y'all, but I gotta go over here. You understand? It's gonna put so much of them more, even more than what we can even show them in the classroom, right? Like what? I know I would. I'd be like, yo, that's dope. She was here teaching me, but then she over there in Hollywood, in Hollywood, or she over there on Broadway. How dope is that, right? She didn't never stop, which is why I love the story. I forget of that British lady who was like in her 60s, and she finally got discovered of her beautiful voice, and it's like, yo, she was in her 60s. At one point in time, for me, I was like, if I'm 19, I'm too old to be a singer. Who said that? The lies we tell ourselves, the lies. And this brings me to my last point. It feels slow until it doesn't. Progress is quiet, uncomfortable, invisible, and then suddenly you're different. But getting there, it's growing pains, not failure. Every single, I know I'm seeing the change in myself, and it's the little baby steps I'm taking. It's the stitches, baby. It's the stitches. It's not just the whole outfit or the whole garment. It's the stitches that's stitching everything together. And when you're done stitching in one part of your life, or whatever that case may be, you see you have a beautiful garment, and you like, yo, I was doing this whole time. You're like, what? Stop playing with me. You better quit playing. So, anyway, listen. Change is uncomfortable because it forces a death. The death of your old patterns, the death of your comfort zones, get up out of them. The death of who you thought you had to be, especially for somebody else. All right. But what's born in its place is clarity, strength, alignment, a new version of you that's not surviving, but definitely thriving. So it's uncomfortable right now. Good. That means it's working. Growth is not meant to be comfortable, baby. Change is not meant to feel good. It does not feel good, okay? It hurts. All right. How many of us out here are parents? Baby, when my body was changing, carrying that baby, it was hurting at some point. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel good. My body hurts. I got acid reflux. I'm sitting up here. Like, all these things are happening. It doesn't feel good. However, it is necessary because transformation doesn't come with convenience. It comes with courage. All right, y'all. So I'm done. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. Remember, question everything, starting with why, because why is always the question. And I'm out. Peace.